Hi everyone, Tom here from Ludus Gym, and welcome to another episode of Garage Gym series. And today is Deadlift Day. It's my favourite session, it's everyone in the Ludus Gym's members' favourite session of the week. So today we're going to talk about the mindset of deadlifting and what it takes to be constantly progressing in your deadlift. So if you haven't watched last week's episode, we talked in a lot of detail about technique, setup, breathing and bracing, and all the technique side of things. So make sure you've watched that one before we go into this video, okay everyone? So in terms of the mindset, and what we're going to focus on today is how we're approaching each exercise. So we'll go through that as we go through all different exercises. It'll be the same as last week, a little bit of progression, so we'll talk about that as well. What we want to start on is, what's your mindset like just before your training? Are you focused on what we're ready to do? Are you feeling confident that you're going to hit the weights that you've decided you're going to hit? And are you feeling strong, both physically and mentally? So what that means is little things like your phone needs to be off for at least that 1 hour of the session. I mean, I don't sort of care how busy everyone is. You've always got 1 hour in the day where you can have your phone completely off. This is your time to yourself, and then you can focus on 100% what we're trying to achieve on the session, basically. So what I'd recommend everyone has is some sort of training diary. Doesn't need to be anything complicated, just pieces of paper, and you write down every single session. So you've got your state, your mindset is right, you're feeling confident, you're feeling focused, you're feeling strong, and then your strategy is you're going to write down every single thing that you're going to do in that session. So before we do this session, make sure you watch through the whole video, write down exactly what you're going to do, so you've got your plan of action, and then you go and attack it. So there's little things like this that don't seem much, but over time they build up, and they make the difference between you constantly improving or sometimes plateauing and becoming stagnant in certain lifts. So if it's something you haven't tried before, then I'd definitely recommend it. I'm going to go through lots of other little mindset techniques, tips throughout this deadlift session, okay? Okay then, so into the warm-up, we're going to do the same stretches that we did last week. So foot around the band, lie down on the back, leg up to the ceiling. Inhale, knee towards your chest, exhale, push through. 5 breaths on this one. So in the warm-up, even though we're stretching, we don't want to become too sort of stagnant, too passive. We want these movements to be sharp and aggressive because we're going to be trying to lift heavy weights. So we need that mindset to stay focused and to be geared towards what we're trying to do today. So what I recommend people do when they're stretching, when they're warming up, when things are nice and easy, is just to practice some visualization. So this is really good if you're going to try and lift a weight you've never lifted before, try and hit personal best. You just want to try and visualize yourself. Say, I'm going to go deadlift over there later. I can visually see myself over there, standing with my feet under the bar, standing nice and tall, pull my shoulders back, taking a big deep breath, and I've just pulled that weight off the floor like it's nothing, like it's a warm-up weight. The more you practice this visualization process of succeeding, never failing, then the more likely it is to happen. Because in your mind, if you've done something 100 times, then when you actually go up to approach it, something that we've never actually physically done before, your mind is going to be like, I've done this 100 times already, this is going to be easy. So that's the confidence, that's the mindset that you need. So when you're warming up, when you're going through these stretches, just visualize what you're going to do today. So we're not going to be hitting massive weights on this workout series, but it's the process, it's the plan of what we're trying to achieve, and that will carry over back into your gym workouts then. So we're hitting some decent weights, so approach it the same, and then when we get back to the gym, you'll realise the benefit then of that mindset shift. Okay everyone, so on to the high volume warm-up. We've got the same 3 exercises that we did last week. So we've got the banded pull-ups, we've got the banded sit, and we've got the plank. So technique-wise, what I want you to focus on today is why are we doing the exercise. So first up, we've got pull-ups. We're trying to get the lats warmed up and trying to get activation in the lats. So the lats pull the shoulders back and down. So whilst you're doing your pull-ups, I want you to think about pulling your shoulders back and down to feel the squeeze here, okay? Biggest mistake I see on pull-ups is people hunching up into the traps here and pulling themselves up like that. Yes, it's a pull-up, you're moving yourself from A to B, but why are we doing pull-ups? We're trying to activate the lats, so shoulders back and down, okay? So Same format as last week, 4 sets of 20 on each exercise. So shoulders back and down, and then pull. Not up and into the traps there. Shoulders back and down. And you get 20 repetitions that way, okay? Okay, onto the banded sit next. So stand inside, pop it around the back of your knees, a little bit of tension on the band. And we're trying to activate our glutes, hamstrings and quads as if they was in a deadlift. So we need the technique to be specific to a deadlift. So feet are pointing forward, same width. We're pushing the outsides of our feet, hips are back, knees are over the top of the ankles, and we're holding that position here with our glutes and our hamstrings. Same again, specific, abs are in tight, shoulders are back. We're holding this for 30 seconds. Make sure you've got 45 degrees here. Okay, after 30 seconds of that, we've got a 30-second plank. So with the plank, we're trying to activate our core. So if you think about squeezing your abs as hard as you can on this one, that's what we're trying to achieve, okay? So it's not just staying off the floor for 30 seconds, because that could be here, you could be down there. Perfect straight line, shoulders are back, and you're squeezing your abs. That's what we're trying to achieve, so that's what we're focusing on for this warm-up. Okay, 4 sets of 20 on those. Keep going through it, thinking about what muscle groups you're trying to work. So for the pull-ups, it's your lats. For the banded sit, it's your hamstrings, glutes, and quads. And then for the plank, it's your abs. So just focus on that as you're going through, and you'll get more out of it as if you were just going through the motions. Okay everyone, so on to the main work now. So the barbell row is the main exercise, same as last week. So last week we worked up to a 6 rep max. And today we're going to do exactly the same weight, but we're going to do 8 repetitions. So that's how we're going to progress it over these 3 weeks. We're going to do 10 next week, 8 this week, and on the first week it was 6, on that same weight, okay? So when you're doing your warm-up, as in the 4 sets of 20 before, what I want you to be thinking about mindset-wise is what jumps are you going to take on your warm-ups. So this carries over really well to when we do our normal deadlift session. So let's say you're working up to a top single at 200, let's say. So in your mind, or even in your notebook, what you should be putting down is what your warm-up sets are going to be. You don't have to write down exact repetitions, you can if you want to. So we're going to start at 60 kilograms, and then we go to 80, and then 100, and then 120, 140, 160, 180. If that works for you, then great, or if you want to take bigger jumps, then have some sort of action plan written down. It doesn't mean you need to stick to it 100%. You can always make decisions and tweak things if something's not feeling right, if certain circumstances come into play which mean you have to take bigger jumps, then that's okay. But having that set plan will just help a lot with your progression on deadlifts. So same with this, I know already in my mind I'm going to start with 60, then I'm going to do 80, then I'm going to do 100, and I'm going to go to my 120 for my top set of 8, okay? Okay everyone, so I've worked up to my top set, 120, did the jumps that we previously stated. Mindset wise, what we want to focus on for your top set, no matter whether it's doing a heavy deadlift row or doing a heavy deadlift, you're going to treat it exactly the same. Yes, the weights are a lot different. So in terms of your mindset on this one, confidence wise, you all know you're going to lift this weight. It's not going to not come off the floor because it's less than what you would do on a deadlift. But you're going to have the same rituals, you're going to have the same setup, and you're going to hit it with the same aggression that you would as if it was a top single on the heaviest deadlift that you've ever done, okay? So next week we'll talk a little bit more about setup, sort of my setup. Everyone's got slightly different ones, and they adapt and they change over time, depending on what sort of weaknesses you're working on, what works for you. Some people care about it a lot, others don't, but for me it makes a big, big difference. So make sure your top sets, you're always setting up exactly the same as you would to a top set on a heavy deadlift, and it's always the same in your warm-ups as well. So you've got to get aggressive with it. So as soon as I put my feet under that bar, I'm going to stamp them into the floor, my shoulders are coming back, I'm going to stand nice and tall, take a big deep breath, go down to the bar, and the setup's going to look the same as if I was doing a heavy deadlift. And then we'll go for 8 repetitions. So 50% of whatever weight you did. So I've gone 120 down to 60 kilos, and then we're going to superset that with the banded push downs. So last week was 3 sets of 6, so we're going to up it this week to 3 sets of 8 on each, okay? So 8 banded push downs into 8 rows. So banded push downs, if you want the full description and technique, watch the last video. We're trying to activate the lats. So mindset wise, I want to be thinking about squeezing my lats the whole time. So this position here now, my lats are as stretched as they'll go. So this here is where you'll feel the stretch. So are my lats stretched? Yes. So now I'm going to push the band down and start activating them. I'm going to start squeezing my shoulders back towards me. I'm trying to squeeze my lats as hard as I can. Can I constantly feel some tension in my lats? That's what you want to be asking yourself. Squeeze them lats together at the back. Make them burn like crazy. The earlier in the set you can get them burning and fatigued, the better. If they're just burning after 7 or 8 reps, then that's okay. But if you can get them burning straight away, you're going to get more progression in there. More isolation, more growth, more development. So really slow and controlled. Focus on that technique. Thinking about what your lats are trying to do. They're trying to pull the shoulders back. So as soon as you start coming back, really pull them shoulders back. Really big stretch. Feel that stretch. And then feel that contraction at the top. And then always finish by stretching it back out again. Okay, so for the rows, same band as last week. No less, no more. Pop it on just onto the edge of the triceps here, so that when you row, the band is going to add that little bit extra. Start coming back on the knees slowly. Focus on the grip too much. That's 2. And 3 sets of 8. When we focus on trying to squeeze the bar as hard as you can. So not to pop it up and straight back. Pause at the top. How do we make that progress? So on to the speed work now. So same as last week, we're going to do 10 sets of 3 repetitions on Romanian deadlifts. So weight wise, exactly the same as last week. If you was using band tension, then you can put a bit more band tension on, okay? That's going to be the progression. If you weren't using band tension, then maybe an extra 2.5 kilos each side. Nothing crazy. The benefit of the Romanian deadlift, why we're starting the Romanian deadlift, because then after these first 3 weeks we're going to go on to some speed deadlifts on the floor, is to focus on the bar path. The Romanian deadlift is one of the best variations of a deadlift to teach people where the bar should be on the middle of the foot. So mindset wise, I want you to focus on trying to feel where the bar is in terms of being on the middle of the foot. Is it out in front of you? Is it too close to you? Or is it bang on the middle of the foot? You can't really get too close to you, that's normally on the middle of the foot for that one. So when you're warming up on this, good little tip that I like to do is go really, really slowly and then pause at the bottom, because you can't pause in a bad position. The bar will naturally take it back to the middle of the foot. So when we're lifting up, we're always pushing with the hips. And then it's going to go down nice and slow, focusing on where that bar is on the middle of the foot. Have a pause there, and then back up nice and slow again. So you should be able to feel that that bar is in the centre of the gravity, the centre of your gravity, on the middle of your foot, okay? So then all 10 sets of 3 on the working sets, that's what we're focusing on. Is the bar in the middle of the foot? And then we can move it fast on the way up, once you're happy with the technique. Okay, so now for the top sets on the Romanian deadlifts. Once you've worked up to your working weight, that little bit of progression from last week, we're going to do 10 sets of 3 at the top of every minute for 10 minutes. So make sure you've got a clock or a timer handy. The first priority is that the bar is in the centre of your balance and you're accelerating it up as fast as you can and the glutes are engaged. And then you want to focus on the time, okay? So make sure the technique's right first, and then if you can stick to the time constraints, then great, okay? So let's get stuck into it. So we're feeling that bar on the middle of the foot, and then we're accelerating up as fast as we can to that lockout. We've got a little bit of light assistance work. So the intensities come right down. We're trying to slow these 2 movements down, focusing on contracting the muscles and getting lots of blood into the upper back to finish with, okay? So same 2 exercises on the superset that we did last week. We've got the banded pull downs and the seated rows. Go back to the first video for any technique or adaptations on those 2. So let's get straight into it and I'll talk you through as we go. So banded pull downs, we're going to be focusing on, same thing as the pull-ups, pulling our shoulders down and back and then rotating the palms towards you. Push the head through, shoulders back and then palms towards you. Trying to squeeze your shoulder blades together at the back, trying to get lots of blood into the lats. Same reps as last week, 3 sets of 16 on each. So we're trying to make a light weight and light resistance feel heavy by going slow and controlled and feeling the burn. And then seated rows. So same again as last week. This is just hitting the lats now from a different angle. So come back, you've got a little bit of tension on the band. Palms start facing down. And as you pull towards you pull with the shoulders first, and then palms coming up again. Trying to squeeze them shoulders together at the back. Trying to keep your chest up. If you struggle keeping your chest up on this one, sit on a little block and you'll get in a better position. Gotta have that back straight and chest up, okay? Try and get a squeeze at the top. Try to hold it there for a little bit. Okay, 3 sets of 16 on those guys. And then once you've done that, that's the end of the session. So until next time, stay safe, stay inside, and stay strong.